Okay guys, so now let's get our coordinates right first. So we have checked out M Centura before. So at the same road of Jalan Sentul Pasar, M Arisa will be their next subsequent phase. This road, again, as we mentioned on the last episode, right, there's two stretches to it. One is on the older address where you have several schools all together at the back, and this one will be the newer phases. And this is a 3.3 acre piece of land with 1598 units all together. In first glance, of course, it looks massive, but there's this new way of dividing into blocks. So actually this is two blocks altogether. Instead of having the gap, they maximize the construction cost by actually building them in one go, having internal partitions within. And coming into the side, this will be Jalan Sentul Pasar, and McDonald's will be somewhere here, and they are going to construct a local road into the project itself, and that's really good because we know how busy the road is, and the residents will be welcomed by this multi-level green space, which is amazing. And when they go in through the guardhouse, they will make a turn to the back and access the car parks via this way. And because the site is long enough, they have created this express ramp system where it is pretty common within malls. Straight away in one go, you can reach level 5 of your car parks. And that actually saves a lot of trouble. Instead of going 5 times upwards, now you just go 1 time straight away. That's cool. Also, Block A and Block B will have their very own loading bay at the front, so whenever they move stuffs, right, it's going to be easier. And on top of the elevated car parks, this will be the facilities there. And the team of landscape architect is the same as M Centura, so it's going to look pretty similar, where you have similar language of the floating gyms. You have the organic forms for the children's pool, wading pool, and the 50 meters Olympic size lap pool. Then you have the fringe of landscape at the border for safety purposes. And the best thing here is that you have an existing project next door that is really successful, sold out. It really bridges that uncertainty portion whenever you buy a new property. And at the end, at the side, you will see this centralized garbage disposal system here. And right next to that, this was surprising, you have an urban farming area at the corner. I think because of the form of the land, you have this space, so they actually do something really, which is better than nothing. I guess the main concept when you come in here, right, this looks like a hotel in Singapore, and they actually transfer upwards as well. And this is their concept model, where they are really trying to illustrate that vertical garden that they are going for. Besides this magnificent entrance statement, you even have one sky garden here. You have also one at the rooftop. And throughout the facilities, we can really see a cascading language of terrain throughout the entire water play area. And we have somewhat seen that in their previous project, including the floating gym treatments, including the space below the gym, where there's going to be a jacuzzi and some private water area. But the model itself, the concept seems extensive. This will be the floor plan layout. It's going to be pretty easy in misunderstanding this floor plan. Actually, this is 2 blocks where you have 2 service cores here. In total, you have 6 lifts servicing 18 units in 1 block. So this one, you have another 18 units in 1 block, but there's a connection that is only open during emergencies. And because of the density and the way of construction, right, they are managed to put the price where the unit that we're going to check out, right, around 700 over square feet, it's going to be around 400,000 per unit. But this is not a social housing project. This is not a rumah whip or a rumah selengokku kind of thing. Because if you look into the facilities treatment, if you look into the vertical gardens, you look into the ramps, confirm it's not a government project. Hence, I just checked with the team just now. This project is almost fully booked already. And what we are seeing right now at the sales gallery as well, this will be the treatment for the common areas around the facility deck, where we can see the cascading languages around the pool. Sitting areas, the landscape treatments will all look like that. They're really putting in a lot of effort to bridge that communication, which I really like. And the orientation of the building is north-south facing, so you will have minimal direct sunlight into the unit, so the heat can be managed. However, you will need to pay attention to the adjacent blocks in the future as well. So we have M Centura on one side. In the future, we don't know what's going to happen. Just do take those elements into consideration. Today we're going to check out this unit called Type C. It's 708 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and it's pretty direct. When you come in, you will have your kitchen at the side with your dining. Then you will have your living space with your balcony. That's cool. Going in, this is a 2-bedroom that is similar in size. Well, one has their own ensuite for the principal. One will be sharing this along with the visitor. And as an investor, I'm really attracted to this layout. So coming into the unit, this will be a foyer of 1.35 meters, and let's just imagine when you open up the door when you go inside. So the wall-to-wall width is around 2.9 meters, and that is also the height of the unit. And when we come in, this will be the kitchen. It's a longer one in an L-shaped arrangement, and this is where you will have your hood and hob. Just imagine that this is going to be a full wall, and you have the basin, the tabletop along with your fridge. You have a lot of storage here, and these windows will be connecting to the void. So that's really nice whenever you need fresh air. Next to that will be the dining space, and you can fit in a 4-seater here. It's also where the developer will always use interior design treatments to suggest the intention of the unit itself. So they are putting in a sofa bed here to somewhat indicate that this can also be used as a bedroom, and there's a demand for it. So if you look into the room rental platforms around here, the master bedroom here is renting out for 900, then you have a subsequent room that is 600, some 550, and as an investor, right, immediately that's like my default in calculation. 900, 600, 550, I can get that level of rental already, and the selling price for this freehold unit is around 400 over 1,000. Well, depending on which height is available lah. And if you think about it as an investment, right, pretty interesting. So going through the dining and living, at the end you will have a balcony here, and this will be the actual balcony width of 900 mm, but this is built on an existing shop lot, so this is restricted. Then throughout the spaces you will see the floor tiles, and all these materials are actually displayed onto a panel. This corridor connecting to the 2 rooms will be 1 meters in width and 2.3 meters in height. And let's go in. So on this side will be the shared bathroom. Wow! You have the Sorrento basin, Sorrento for WC, full high wall tiles with the shower, and you have that pocket to put your shampoos and all, a window connecting to the void. And right next to the bathroom, I actually enjoy this detail a lot. They have this storage area, which is very nice, very underrated, especially when you have only 700 square feet. You will need all the space you can get. Okay, this will be the first bedroom, and the size of the room is 2.8 meters by 2.5 meters, and do take note of the window size. So this is going to be actual, it's not your full height, and this will be facing the internal void, which is the secondary facade, and you can really feel the intent of the developer trying to really illustrate the green concept even in the ID. Anyway, you will have timber floorings in your bedrooms, and going opposite, this will be the principal bedroom. So the width from wall to wall is 3.1 meters. The depth is 2.7, and you can fit in your wardrobe there, have bedside tables, and still have a lot of space for circulation. And the window size is somewhat similar in terms of height, but the number of panels here will be more for your principal bedroom. And you will have your own principal bathroom. You will have Sorrento for basin, and you will have Sorrento for WC. But check out the wall tiles. Wow! With the right light hitting on those surfaces, right? This does not look like the budget range at all. So nice. And I guess that's all for the show unit. Now let's go explore the entire stretch of Jalan Sentul Pasar and go study the different dynamics we have at different stretch. Let's go. Hey guys, so now we are right in front of the site, and we can see several things. How busy Jalan Sentul Pasar is. You can see that it's still controlled using traffic light, hence it will always lead to congestion. But the good thing for that is there's a direct connection into Duke Highway. The second observation will be McDonald's next to it, and this small little stretch of road there will be 2
McDonald's joints, and that somewhat indicates the maturity of population that they predict.
The third thing to look out for will be these typologies of projects around this stretch. You have a mixed development setting of having retails, offices on the top, then the elevated car park, then only the residence itself. But one cool thing is they will have a lot of franchises around this area. So you have the Mamas here, Coffee Bean is here, Starbucks is here, CU Mart is here, Secret Recipe is here.
Then on the upper floor, it's always those appointment bases where you have the tuitions, you have the dentists, you have the clinics, and etc. And when you compare that to the project, M Arisa is a full residential project on a commercial plot of land. And by looking at the drone shot, you will notice that when we look at the project at first glance, wow, a lot of units so high dense with the surrounding projects, right? But the neighboring lots are all landed. Then you have a lot of schools here, a lot of public complexes here, a lot of empty space around proximity, which is the effect of the town planning again. Suddenly when there's a demand for a location of such, the remaining lands tends to have a higher plot ratio, but the local authorities allow them to build higher density in accordance to their studies.
And what I'm concerned about here, that's M Arisa. There's this small little plot right in front of the project that does not belong to the same developer. So that is somewhat a commercial area, I think, because of the size.
But I would just imagine if I were to stay here, I can walk out right opposite, you will have the shops there. On the same row, you will have some commercial areas at the side, and if you drive, then it will be way more convenient lah. This will be the stretch where there's just a lot of schools lah. So there's a Chinese school, Sentul Pasar, then there's a SK Sentul here as well. It's just packed, especially now when it's the after school hours, right? Parents all come and pick up their children and you can just see and feel the traffic. Right opposite, you can see the old shop lot, and based on the facade and the typology of it, you see they have that double-story structure. Then at the end, you have the 4-story structure. Behind these, then you have some landed properties which are very peculiar looking at the demand for space of today, right?
Around this area, you will also have some social housing around, and this was the original characteristic of the site.
Then at the end of the street will be Sentul Boulevard on this side, and this will be the main area where everybody here does their banking or some commercial activities, where here you have some offices. And this used to be the center point before all those new developments were up. And what you can see still, this will be one of the school. And do take note that all these school hours, right, will only affect you if you are going to be working from home. Then when you go out for lunch, something you take note only if you are going to be in an office from 9 to 6, right? I don't think so this is going to affect you. But that indicates the maturity of the population in this location. So that's very, very nice. Where you have not one, not two, I think got 4 to 5 schools all together. You have banks everywhere, you have tuition centers. It's a very community-based economy. And offices, not so much yet. But because of the proximity to KL, this location becomes really popular throughout these few years. And I guess that's all for the project and location. Very, very intense, very, very busy. And that's always good for properties, I guess. And with that, it's now time for Sean's take 3 on 3. The first thing, still Sentul as a location itself, where we can witness right now that the level of population is so high and it's growing. Plus, it's an existing neighbourhood and you can see that the number of schools around are just insane. You got LaSalle, you got Convent, you got SK Sentul, you got Zhiwen, you got Sekolah Sentul Pasar, and all those indicates the maturity of population within the location. Even the fast food joints, even the F&B franchises, all moved in, although they don't have some massive modern mall or whatsoever. That normal stretch of commercial areas is good enough for them to set up their stores here. However, that's also heavily contributed to the connection to the city. If you are working within KL city itself, you are really very close, where you're connected to Jalan Ipoh, Jalan Genting Klang, Jalan Pahang, and my personal favorite is the new introduction of the connection to Duke Highway itself. So that somewhat allows you to hack the traffic a little bit. And all these are just the start. And if you just walk around, right, we can see places where there are concentration of traffic and people, but there are still a lot of lands that are still empty. So there's still more room to grow. It's a developing location after all. The second thing I like would be the design approach of the developer to not go like what the neighboring lots are doing. Neighboring lots is pretty straightforward, where you have that birthday cake typology. On the bottom, you have the commercial portion where the retail and offices are, and you need to drive into the project to reach to the residential areas. Usually those typology will have a problem of the uncertainty of the success of the commercial components. What if it's all empty, right? Then it will affect the residents. But if it's too packed, like what we see, the experience back home will be affected for the residents as well. So for M Arisa, they decided to go all residential, no commercial components at all, and I personally like it that way. So it's more private, it's more serene, it's better for safety and security, and I like that private road into the project itself. Instead of having that direct connection to the road, this is a road away from the junction. Next also will be the emphasis on the common areas. So as we have visited their previous project before, the facilities deck is awesome, and since they are using the same landscape architect, we can almost guesstimate what's going to be the end result. But on this one, you have that heavy emphasis on the vertical green elements, which is insane considering the price range that they are launching the project at. What a luxury to have that kind of treatments right in front of the entrance, because if you look into the site, there's really not much space, but then they try their best. They will still have a herbs garden at the ground floor, they will still have these vertical greens at the entrance, on the sky decks and the intermediate floors. So they are really trying hard to create spaces for the residents. And last of all will be the sales performance in accordance to the selling price that they are launching right now. So as we know, the previous project was sold out, and we went and checked it out before. So there's this confidence instilled within the buyers, and now it results in a project that is again 90% booked. So now they are actually converting the sales. So the existing project really gives a lot of certainty to this new bunch of buyers. And a common argument here is because of that very competitive selling price, right? That very affordable price. They are mistaken as a rumor whip or the social housing introduced by the government. Actually, it's not. Because if you were to go that route, the security portion, the common areas wouldn't be this elaborated. So this approach of giving so many things within the project, but yet having a price that is so competitive, that is very good lah. However, for the three things I don't like, it's pretty close as well. In order to reach that affordable, they need to increase the number of units. The density is there, right? Plus, the construction method that the team decided to adopt, where they combine the two blocks together, that created this visual impact that scares people. Actually, it's two blocks. If you were to just split them a little bit, right, it will look so different. But yeah, I think it's a construction cost maximization effort where they just combine all together, right? And you just cast the slab in one go, so that saves a lot of resources. But as we discussed before about density, right? If you look into that stretch of Jalan Sentul Pasar, yes, we can see all the new blocks coming up all together in that one cluster of buildings. Yes, it looks kind of scary, but when you just zoom out a little bit, you have landed projects next to the site, you have schools, you have public buildings, you have empty lands around the property still. So personally, I think that's only the start. Then the second thing would be the micro elements around the site. First of all would be the entrance, because there's this small piece of land right in front of the project that does not belong to the developer. So I was told that it's going to be a commercial building where it's around 4 to 5 stories. It's going to be right at the entrance into the project itself. So we don't know how is that going to be. And then you have this empty piece of land right in front of the site again. So let's say if that is going to be a high rise, think about the premium for the floors. Or you want to go low unit just to face the facilities, entirely up to you. But please do take note, because no one can really tell what's going to happen in the future lah. Besides the view, also you will have this stigma of the location itself, because at that stretch you will see a lot of social housing. The roads are narrow and the congestion is just bad. However, that's only part of the stretch of the entire address, because just so happen all those schools locate themselves within the same same road, resulting in that first impression. But if you travel down to Jalan Sentul Pasar, roads are way wider. The tenant mix for the commercial area is way more sophisticated. You have direct connection to the highway. Then on the other side, you have modern offices of D5 and D7 next to the KL Performing Arts Centre. That's a whole different world altogether. You also have the MRT. And just for the clarification of the stigma, it's always good that we look into the existing data at site. So if we look into the room rentals, if we look into the sales performance of each project, they are pretty convincing. And that indicates the demand for the location. And to my surprise, the layout type with the most room, the 4-bedroom type, right, sold out the fastest. So that indicates that a lot of people are going to buy these for own stay purposes, despite the investment numbers being so good. Interesting, right? And I guess that's all for this episode. Shout out to the team again for having me. After visiting their previous project, I kind of asked, hey, can I go and see? And they said yes, so that's good. And to me, it's a very, very fun experience to document this since 3 years ago, and we are now witnessing the development of this existing township, which is so cool. And if you really like this video, like it, share it, and even subscribe for more information like this. Until next time, this is Sean Tan. Ciao.